Alright, so I'm going to swap out this solenoid, or hydraulic solenoid. If you want to know how I got to the conclusion that the solenoid was bad, then you can watch my previous video, link to in the description, and you can see how I diagnosed this, and see how I came to the conclusion I had a bad PVEM solenoid. So, like I said, we got two different ones here. The top stack are PVEO solenoids, and the bottom three are PVEM solenoids. So there's a part number on them. The part number of the one I'm changing is 157B4116. So that's what I gave the guy at the place that sells them, and this is what he gave me here. So what is it? 11166,829. The only thing that concerns me, it says 11 to 32 V. I don't know if that's volt or what, but it seems to be a replacement. I looked it up and it says it's a replacement for that valve, so it does look a little different. So that valve's from 2005, so I guess it would probably change them over time. So this is what it looks like. It's a little shorter. Doesn't really have the cover on it. The other one does. But anyway. So this is it. So this is a DIN plug, a 1x4 DIN. Gives you the pinouts and stuff and what they are. Comes with some new bolts, a new plug, which I'll probably change. Looks like it comes apart pretty easy, and yeah, your lowering, and yeah, so repair that. So I'll put the plug on and swap this valve out. So I'll unplug this connector. It's kind of a little tricky to get to. So the thing about the other one is it's not as tall. Like the plugs won't be in line. This one's going to be over here because it's not the same size. Don't know if that matters, but like I say, it says it's a replacement for it, so go with that. A little screw that holds the connector in on the top. Kind of a pain to get to. It's not so much the screw, it's that the pump right here is in the way, so I can't get on it straight. So that valve, I called a dealer and they called Alamo to get a price on the valve. Alamo wanted, or the company that I was getting it through Alamo wanted $1,300 and something for this valve. I believe we got it for $514 from the company that sells Danfoss stuff, so got considerable savings, to say the least. So we got a H5 Allen. Take the 4 bolts off. You got one here, so one in each corner. I guess if you had to, you could probably take this whole valve block off. Looks like it's bolted to a... yeah, it's like 4 bolts. It looks like it's bolted to this plate that's mounted on the front here. And you could probably just take the whole thing and slide it to the side, but I'm gonna try not to do that. Alright, so that's what the valve looks like. All the little O-rings stuck on there. So look at the two here. They do look pretty similar. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, so look at the two there. They look pretty similar. The only different is this little thing here. But then there's like a check ball there. I mean, it's pretty close. All right. Same size. Two screws in. Huh. Wasn't too bad. Alright, so I believe there is a torque spec on this. Let me find it so I don't mess up the threads or anything. I don't think it's going to be that critical, but I'd rather do it right. So this looks like it's 70 plus or minus 4 inch-pounds. Pound feet. Well, I have to figure out what that is. Pounds. Alright, so it's inch pounds. So 70 plus or minus 4.4 inch pounds. So that's torque spec on those bolts. See if this will fit in there. And it will. All right. So there's that. So I'm gonna figure out what we're gonna do with the plug. Pull it out over here. Let's see about what you got in the kit. It comes with the plug and with the little screw there. And the O-ring. I might drop that in the oil. What I might do is I might save the plastic outer section and just change the inner terminals, just because this doesn't seem like the same size. I bet you that is. So the housing's the same size, but the wiring where it goes in does not look like it's the same. This one seems bigger. So I think I'll pull this out and I'll try to just change this, the terminal end. So figure out how you do that. Pull that screw out first. Screw out and then you just push it through. Yep. So I just pushed it from the inside. It's got on the end there, you won't be able to see it well, but it's got like this little clip that when the screw's in there, it won't let you press them in. So when you take the screw out, you can press it in and take it out. So I'll probably have to loosen that up. Looks like there's a little collet here. I don't know if you can see very well. Keep you up a little bit. So it's like a little collet here for that wire. That's some fine little wires there. I don't know why. I don't know why you'd take something that vibrates like these do and put these little tiny baby wires in there. Doesn't exactly make sense to me. But I'm not an engineer, so what do I know? Alright, so here's our little connector. Looks like it just got these screws that crimp down on the wires. So we'll just swap this out so I get new terminals. And yeah. Plug that in. Alright. So these are numbered. Red is on 1, black is on 2, and ground is on, is that 3? No, ground is on ground, which is, it's got the little ground symbol on it. That's easy. Alright, so I'm gonna strip these back a little bit. So. One, two, ground.
Indiana abortion for the tractor. 2870275.
So that was the way the red one was in there. I didn't really like that. The black one was crimped in the way it was supposed to be, which was a little odd. Alright. So red is one, ground, and black. So, black is 2. I don't know if you can even see. So we gotta make sure that I put the plug obviously back in the connector correctly. So you I'm lining up with a flat ground, and that is all the way this way. So that's going to be at the front of this wire. There's that. So we get our little screw out of the package. Drop that. I probably didn't have to change that plug. It looked alright. This comes with a new rubber gasket that goes on there. That on. Take this off and show you what you got here. So you can see we got the 4 screws that hold it on, and so we got the plug, and showing this one. It's kind of what the connector looks like. So basically what this does is this controls the hydraulic pilot controls. So this directs the flow in and out of the valve, and it makes the spool of the valve go back and forth. So the way that works is there's it through those 4 holes, it sends the pilot pressure in there. I think it's a couple 100 pounds of pressure. It'll send the pilot pressure into the valve, through the valve into the solenoid. So the solenoid will actuate, and it will move around, and it will cause the fluid to be directed to one side or the other through the spool, or through the solenoid valve. And what that does is it either puts pressure on the head of the spool here, or it goes through the valve through a hole, and it comes to the other side of the spool, and it will push back and forth on this side. So basically it just pushes the valve back and forth, and that's how that works. So the problem I was having was something was wrong, I believe, internally in that valve, and it was causing the fluid to be directed to one side or the other inadvertently through like a short or something in the electronic section, and that was causing the valve to function. So I'm not 100% sure this is going to work, just because I took the number off the valve. It seemed like a good number. I gave the guy the number and he gave me the valve. So, I mean, as you can tell, the valve is a little different, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I imagine it's going to work, but I'm not 100% sure. Trying to use this as something to get a little bit of leverage on. Let's screw that in, because that piece ain't fitting. That little screwdriver ain't fitting this way. So, I got a ton of hydraulic fluid all over this. Move you out of the way and finish cleaning this up, and then we'll test it and see if it works. Alright. So, I still got to change out this little button, but I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. Just take the screws off on the side of this. There's a Torx bit here, one up here, and then there's another one. I think it's an Allen bit in here. You pull this down, there's this collar that you got to get off here, and then this comes apart. This slides out, and then there's 2 wires that are just soldered to the switch, and then a nut. So it's pretty simple. Let's see if this works. Well, it works. So that's that. It's only thing left to do is go and actually drive it around and see if it still has that flip up or drifted in problem. I don't think it's going to. Pretty sure we're going to be all set. But if it comes back, I'll let you know. Alright, so I got the switch for this. Give me a little baggie. Took a little while. So we're gonna take this handle apart. Got a what is it, a T15 Torx bit. Let's pull that out. Another one up top. So this is on a little sliding thing, so this rotates. It's like a little collar. Pull that off, pull it down. So you got this little sliding collar here with a gap in it. Get a screwdriver in the gap and kind of pry it apart. And down. There's that off. There'll be an Allen right there. .532 fits in there. Pull that out. This comes apart. And we got this top piece here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna unsolder these wires on the switch here, and solder the new switch in. Of course. One. Yeah. So switch is disconnected. Yeah. It's kind of weird. Let's try it like this then. Done. New switch. Stick that on there. Lock washer on. Plastic nut on. So let's see. That'll be good. So what we gotta do is I might just it's gonna be a pain to try to get these already soldered wires back through. There's that. Here's the one. So maybe we could do something with that. Okay. Is that? What is that? I gotta do something about this. Hot. Cause it's so hot, hot, hot. Hook that around there. Should be on there. Got a little bit of a pain to try to get all the wires hooked up with one hand. Let's make sure it works. Okay, that works. Let's put this handle back together. And make sure that none of those solder joints are poking on anything or sticking into a wire, anything of that nature. That. So basically, this boot doesn't twist. So that boot goes into here, and this thing twists around that groove, around this little ring. So you got to get the boot back into the ring without it hooking on the rest of it. Because the first time I put it back together, it got hooked on the handle and it was twisting the boot. Yeah. So I believe that's my problem with this. Just because when I was thinking about it, you know, the way that this works is power comes up and it runs through all four of these switches. As you can see, I had to put those two wires on. So on the connector that's at on the tilt solenoid, you get a ground, and then it supplies the power to one side, supplies the power to the other side to make it function. So one of these wires comes from here, goes all the way to the front. This one here comes from here, goes all the way to the front. I mean, it passes through the connector and stuff like there and down below. But for that to get power, somehow power would have to get to this wire. And the only place that this wire goes is from here to there. So that's another reason I was kind of figuring it's the button, because this is the only place that you really can cross the paths of power, that it's incorporated into one area. I mean, I guess it could be chafed through someplace, but so we didn't find that. So I do believe that this is my problem. Because also another thing I was thinking, something I did think was that it could have been jumping the wire inside that harness, because you have, I think, 4 wires run into that little harness side by side, but power isn't run in that wire to that valve. It only has ground run to the valve, and then you get a power from here and a power from there to tip it up or down. So I believe that that's going to be my problem, and pretty sure we're fixed. This was used because it's been a few weeks waiting for that switch to come in between repairing the solenoid and then putting this button here in, and it was used a few times and we didn't have any problems with it drifting in. So I believe that was our fix. So anyway, hope that can help somebody. I thank you for watching and have a nice day.